Hey guys, it's Jeff Farina with Pocketnow.com, and in this video, we're going to give you a look at the hardware of the HTC Wildfire. We're going to check out some of the hardware specs in terms of the CPU, the memory, as well as the screen, the battery, so on and so forth. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright, and we are back, and it's time to jump into our hardware overview of the HTC Wildfire. As you can see here, it is a 3.2 QVGA screen, which has a resolution of 240 by 320. Now, despite the influx of the larger screen devices we've seen as of late, this device has still stuck with the smaller screen to become more consumer friendly. The advantage there is this has a 1300 milliamp hour battery, which once again is powering this smaller screen. Therefore, it will give you around 8 hours of talk time on the GSM signal and around 7.5 when you're using 3G or WCDMA, which is very, very good for this type of device. This phone has 512 megabytes available for ROM, which is going to be your application install space or your storage. It has 384 megabytes of RAM, which is a very strange number, which is basically going to allow you to run different applications at once. And then as far as a micro SD card, it's going to come with a 2 gigabyte in the device itself, and it's upgradable up to 32. So they have kept you up to date with being able to add the larger size micro SD cards. The device weighs about 4.2 ounces, and that's partially because of the fact that it has an aluminum shell, much like the Nexus 1, along the edges here. As you can see, this is your aluminum footprint that goes all the way up to the top. And you actually have an etched aluminum for the earpiece here. Now the back is plastic, however it's the Teflon coated plastic here, and then this back cover is actually plastic itself. Now the way the battery cover comes off is a little different because it actually goes over that chin. As you can see here, the chin itself is actually where the phone sits. Now in order to put the SIM card into the device, you have to actually take the battery out. However, you can actually take the micro SD card out and put in a new one with the battery still in by using the spring-loaded slot as you see here. Moving back to the front of the device, you're going to have the 4 capacitive buttons, much like the Nexus 1's design. However, these buttons are very accurate to the touch, and there's no issues there. It's also going to give you the optical track. Now, it is a 5 megapixel camera with a flash, as you can see here. Also has the ability to autofocus and geotag where you take those pictures. Getting a little up close and personal with the device, we have the volume rocker button on the left side here. You can push up or down to turn your volume up and down accordingly. We have a micro USB port to charge your device. We have the microphone in. It's a very, very little small hole there, as you can see. Moving on to the right side, we have just a flat, smooth surface. The top will give us our power button, as well as where you would take the battery cover from. Just pry your nail in there. And our 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. And once again, this panel itself is plastic, however it is the painted and coated Teflon. You also have the ability to use the FM radio using the headphones. The actual antenna itself is included in the headphones. And as you can see here, if we scroll down to the FM radio, we're not going to pick it up because we are indoors, but it does work as long as you have the headphones on. If the HTC Wildfire interests you, you can check it out over at clove.co.uk for about $300. And that's really where this device is going to shine. By HTC only pricing this device at around $300 US, unlocked, you really can't complain there when looking at some of the other options that you may have. And finally, jumping into some of the network band specs of this device here. For 3G, which is going to be HSDPA as well as the WCDMA, it's going to use 900 and 2100 megahertz. What that means is you won't be able to pick up 3G if you're in the United States. Now, as far as GSM goes, it's going to use 850, 900, 1800, and 1900 megahertz for the spectrum. So there'll be plenty of signal on the edge when you're in the US. However, you once again will not be able to get 3G unless you are in Europe or Asia. This has been our hardware overview of the HTC Wildfire. As always, thank you very much for watching, everyone, and please give us a thumbs up if you like this video, and stay tuned for the next part in this series.